It seems like every week a new anime-based beat-em-up MMO is cropping up on Steam. Last week saw Soul Worker enter open beta, and Jason and I have been playing it a lot. Here's what I can gather after 5 hours of gameplay. I'm Colt for MMOHuts.com, and here's our first look at Soul Worker. Soul Worker, if you haven't guessed, is an anime beat-em-up MMORPG that feels a lot like Critica and Closers. You journey through stages, kill enemies and bosses, and complete quests. You gather gear, crafting materials, and more as you unlock new difficulties and bigger challenges. As far as anime brawlers go, it isn't reinventing the wheel in terms of structure. Visually though, it's one of the better action MMOs I've played. The characters look cool, skill effects have a lot going on, and the animations are solid. Everything from the enemies and environments to the characters and weapons seem to blend together perfectly. The audio direction could use some adjustment, as everything on default settings will kill you if you use headphones. For reference, I use a HyperX Cloud Revolver and keep my system volume at about 50%. Despite this, when the game booted up for the first time, it startled me so bad I chucked my headphones across the room. Fair warning, it's loud. So the game starts out by having you select one of 4 characters, each with their own weapon, fighting styles, and difficulty curve. I spent most of my time with the guitar-playing Stella and the sword specialist Haru. Jason, from what I understand, also played Haru a lot. Haru is ranked as the easiest character to pick up, and for good reason. Her style involves a lot of straight line and small AoE sword skills. You can chain them together in almost any way you want, so you really can't go wrong. In contrast, the game ranks Stella as the hardest character to play. Her skill set isn't rocket science, but you'll need good positioning and careful ordering of her skills to get the most out of them. Once you've selected your character, you'll get to do a tiny amount of customization before jumping into the game. I say tiny because it's almost not worth mentioning. There are 3 hair colors and styles to pick from, as well as 3 eye colors. You can choose the color scheme of your starting outfit as well, which is nice. The real customization comes later with fashion. As you play through the game, you'll unlock fashion items that you can equip to change your character model up. Your weapons already change as you equip new ones, but not your armor. The major way to pick up these fashion items is through crafting, but you can also buy them from the player market once you've got some gold on hand. After this, the game throws you into a tutorial, and the tutorial is pretty great, or at least it's as good as a tutorial can be. If you're a veteran of the brawler genre, you can always choose to skip it, but if you've never played this type of MMO, it might be worth doing at least for a minute or two. The only real qualm I had with it as I was playing was that it dragged on forever. This is partly because, while it is fairly well localized, there is a mountain of dialogue to read through and cutscenes to watch. Once you're in the game proper, it's more or less the same formula as games like Critica or Closers. You grab your quests, go to the zones alone or in a group, and kill stuff. The good news is that the game gets this part right. The combat is fast, fluid, and fun. The only major problem I had with the combat is that sometimes the camera would stick to a wall if I was in a corner and angled it a certain way. I haven't tried the game with a controller yet though, so I don't know if that would solve the problem. Apart from that, as I said, it's fun. Combos are a blast to do, and the combo meter doesn't drop ultra quickly, so if an enemy or boss forces you to dodge back or away, you can rush at them again and continue your combo without missing a beat. The challenge is pretty solid too. In fact, I died 3 times on my first hard mode boss. The difference between hard and normal modes is noticeable, but not insurmountable. As you level up, you'll earn points to unlock new skills and upgrade your old ones. Upgrading your abilities to a certain point can also add new effects to them, like extra hits, knock up, knock back, and a ton of other things. Each character also gets what's called a Nova skill, which grants them a huge power boost for a short period of time and recharges by taking and dealing damage. These transformations also have a cool little scene that plays out when you do them, which is a nice touch. At this point, I need to take a moment to point out that Soul Worker uses one of my least favorite mechanics in these type of games, an energy bar. You can only run stages while you have energy left, and once you're out, you can't run any more stages on that character until it refills. Lion Games also plans to charge real-world currency for items that refill your energy, which is another huge point of frustration. On one hand, this is useful for keeping people from binging on the game too much. Most early stages only cost 8 to 10 energy, and you're given 200 energy at max. You can get in plenty of gameplay in that time. On the other hand, if you're going to entice players who want to spend a lot of time with the game to spend money by enforcing paywalled time limits, you're already damaging the interest people would have taken in the game in the first place. Speaking of monetization, there really hasn't been any implemented yet. The shop has items that you can access for free right now to help test the store, but no way to add or spend real-world currency yet. The items that Lion Games are planning to sell right now include energy refills, respawn items to resurrect you in dungeons, and a megaphone that lets you send server-wide messages. We'll provide an update on the website once more information about the game's microtransactions and available items becomes public. Soulworker is a fun beat-em-up with cool characters and fast-paced combat. If arcade-style action and anime aesthetics are what you're into, I'd recommend this over the other two heavy hitters I've mentioned countless times in this video. The overall feeling of the gameplay is a bit more natural and smooth, and I feel like over time the game will have a great deal of staying power. Well, that's all for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, make sure you subscribe, and keep it locked on MMOHuts.com for all the latest gaming news and reviews.